Texas School for the Deaf, TSD. The football coach is named John Moore Jr. He's a deaf coach who is a strong leader and an excellent role model. In 2015, Coach Moore was named the National Deaf Coach of the Year. TSD uses a bass drum to signal the snap of the ball. One player had stated he detested the obstruction from the line and the limited view from the helmet. Having to turn your head to watch for the snap and having a false start is no good. When the drum is struck, I could feel the vibrations and knew the snap took place, and it was time to proceed with the play. You can feel the vibrations and the pulse right when it hits and triggers to go play. Many schools don't know about the drum, but during warm-ups, the coach will strike the drum, and everybody looks over at us. They all want to know what we're doing. It's really interesting to see. Coach Moore has been playing football his whole life. He was mainstreamed and has always played in leagues. At Model Secondary School for the Deaf, MSSD, when it was in, he started playing football at a deaf school. He also played at Maryland School for the Deaf. In 2016, TSD played 9 hearing teams. TSD finished the season 4-6. Even though TSD had lost the game, their attitude is still positive and the team is strong as ever. When they play against the hearing team, the coach utilizes an interpreter to speak to TSD at the end of the game. They did make the playoffs a second year in a row, but lost the first round, but are still winners in life. The players have hope, inspired to do better, and want to succeed in life. Derek Coleman, deaf NFL player. They told me I can't. I was a lost cause. Kids were afraid to play with me. I was bullied and picked last. Coach didn't know how to talk to me. He gave up on me. He told me I should give up. I've been deaf at the age of 3. When Coleman entered the NFL, he quickly became an inspiration to not only of millions of football fans, but also to society as a whole. He provided the deaf community and anybody with a disability on what people can achieve despite any possible shortcomings after being declared legally deaf at the age of 3. Coleman doesn't actually even remember being able to hear. His parents both have normal hearing, but they're missing a hearing gene. Even if his future had an NFL career, the teasing when he was younger never seemed to stop. He was never placed in any special school. He received speech therapy and learned to read lips. His parents never actually learned sign language. In middle school, he played football for the first time. An MRI showed his ear structure could survive the hits, but he would get too much feedback in his hearing aids, so his mom came up with a solution. She took a pair of pantyhose and cut them and stuck the hearing aids in there, and if the feedback wasn't there, it was successful. Football gave Derek a purpose and a sense of understanding and living. It didn't take long for him to make an impact in his freshman year at Troy High School in Fullerton, California. He was on a varsity team, and the next 3 years he started as a running back. He went on to break the record for the school for the most touchdowns and points scored in a season, as well as numerous school rushing records. He was a league MVP And as a 3-star recruit, he got offers from nearby LA schools, UCLA and USC in 2007. He committed to the Bruins. There he got some reps right away, as he was second on the team in rushing yards. You can say he was never a star back, but he was always very efficient. He was constantly one of UCLA's best special team players. Maybe what was most important in Coleman's college career was proving he could play at an FBS level with his disability. How do you hear the snap? I can. As soon as we break the huddle, and let's say we've got a protection going on, and I'm looking. So by the time I'm in my stance, I already know where everybody is. I already know what I've got to do, and I'm looking at the ball. When the ball is snapped, I'm able to go. On draft night, Coleman's name was never called. My dad taught me a lot growing up. Basically, he told me, you don't wander any opportunities. The only gift, so many in this life, and you don't get ready. Be ready. The Raiders were interested in signing Coleman, but he ended up going to the Vikings in the spring of 2012. Later that season, the Seahawks signed him to come as a fullback and a special teamer. He didn't end up appearing in any games. In 2013, he survived the final round of cuts and made his debut. He plays in the huddle. He tried to position himself so he is in a clear view of the quarterback's lips, teammates, and coaches. Say he's quick to pick things up, even so when the play is changed at the line of scrimmage. A lot of the times he could just tell what was going to be next by looking at what's going on around him. I have to pay attention like 5 more times than everybody else does. When the quarterback says the play, I'm focused. I'll do whatever I got to do. Because if I don't hear him, we're all in trouble. Funny enough, an extremely loud stadium, so loud to the point where even normal ears can't hear in the huddle. Some of the Coleman's teammates will ask him what the quarterback said, because at least he can read lips. Lucky for him, Russell Wilson always removes his mouthpiece when he calls to play, and that makes it easier to understand. In the NFL, he wasn't wearing pantyhose on his head anymore. Instead, he went to a cave cap, which is the same as women's pantyhose. He appeared in 12 games that season for the Seahawks. And then in the Super Bowl, after the Seahawks beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl 48, just like at UCLA, he came out with a book called No Excuses Growing Up Deaf. Duracell had a commercial aired around this time, and he had become an icon for the deaf community. The Duracell commercial basically let me know that I'm not alone, and everybody has problems, but we still do what we loved. And I was just like, need to take this to another level. In 2015, while he was working with the Seahawks, he was temporarily suspended because he was involved, committed a hit and run. He was suspended, and no team wanted to sign him the next year. He joined the Falcons, the Seahawks, and then the Cardinals. Now he is a veteran. He turns off his hearing aids after the games. When you start talking crap about me, I'm like, wait, what? Huh? And then I turn them off after playing every game.